How's it going, everybody? Nick Daniels here. We are just leaving work. It's about 9 p.m. So it's been a long day. I usually leave around 7:30 in the morning for work. And like I said, we're literally just going now to get home. So as you can clearly envision, it's been an incredibly long day. I am pretty tired, but let's make a video. So anyway, I want to talk about employee morale. And it's going to be a pretty quick one here, obviously, because we're just on the way home. So it won't be too long of a vid, but we'll get my point across here pretty quickly, I can only imagine, as I usually try to do. So employee morale, I think, is an incredibly important thing in the workplace, and it should not be underestimated whatsoever. Employees are literally the fundamental thing of a company, right? Like, if you don't have employees, you're bound. And if you don't have employee morale, you're really bound. There are certain ways to get employee morale up. I think one of the biggest is, honestly, just having like a manager, supervisor, or whatever, giving proper recognition and treating employees with respect, as they obviously will return that. They will give the respect back. But yeah, and I think like having a good relationship with an employee is crucial. Now, a lot of people, when they think like employee morale, the first thing, honestly, that comes to mind is like employee parties, staff parties, right? They get everybody together, you have a couple drinks, whatever. That's great, and it does help. But like getting employees involved, getting them doing things, making sure their voice is heard and matters. When you have an employee come in on a day off, and he comes in and he works a quick shift for you or whatever, and he says, you know what, like, you know, just the phone rang, I just had to come in. That's someone valuable, and it should be recognized. So, you know, it makes sense, because next thing he knows, he's been praised for that action. Let's say he came in, like it's in this example, he came into work, manager immediately was like, hey, by the way, thank you so much for coming in, I owe you one, kind of thing, you know, keep up the good work, whatever, right? That guy, seriously, goes home feeling good, right? Because he has like a sense of purpose, and he has that respect. He knows that if I do this, if I do A, B will happen. So in this case, A being, I come into work on my day off. B, I will be thanked and appreciated, and it's not like they're just kind of taking it for granted and expecting me to do it, which is how some companies operate. It was actually the quite opposite. Like no discount, you know, they might not have the staff parties. There might be a lot of tension between other employees, which isn't being remedied. Could be a hostile work environment. The management could just be poor. There are certain things that will factor to make an unhappy employee, and the biggest thing to me about an unhappy employee is they're not going to be productive. My old store manager told me this one time. You know, this girl in the department was screaming at me to quit and stuff, and we got up there, and this has happened multiple times. And, you know, I told him that right off the get-go. He's like, well, if we can't work together, that's a big problem. And I said, yeah, and I think that would definitely affect productivity. And he goes, well, you know, that's not really what I'm looking at here. You know, I'm looking at, you know, everybody getting along. And I said, well, you know, and I didn't continue. But now thinking about it, you know, I'm still right, because even though he's like, okay, you know, this is what I'm thinking, which is true, right? You know, you want everybody to get along. If everybody still doesn't get along, productivity is still down, and productivity should be like a top 3 concern, because again, if you've got a disgruntled employee, you're not productive. That's a fact. Someone else is here. All right, well, that's going to close it for the video there, folks. Thank you so much for watching. It's been another little driving rant video. I actually enjoy these a little bit more sometimes than sitting in the car, but, you know, we can't all be perfect. So then, yeah, thanks for tuning in. As I've said a few times before, we're going to see you in the next video. Peace. Cheers.